Hi, in this video I want to share with you why most traders never know where the market is going. I'm going to show you a chart and I'm going to ask you to tell me why do you think the market turned at this very specific moment. Take a look at this chart for a moment. Why did the market reverse at this exact point? Most traders think the answer is an indicator. It isn't. My name is Aldo Lagrutta and I'm a certified financial technician from the International Federation of Technical Analysts. I'm also a certified Elliott Wave analyst and founder of the Technical Analysis Institute. For years, I've worked with traders from professionals to amateurs, showing them how to accurately forecast probable market moves using the wave principle. And over that time, I noticed something very interesting. Most traders don't fail because they lack indicators. They fail because they don't see the overall market structure. They don't see the bigger picture. A few days ago, I was speaking with a trader who was extremely frustrated. He was telling me, my problem is that every time I buy, the market falls. And every time I sell, the market rallies. It is as if I should sell when I want to buy and should buy when I want to sell. Have you ever felt that way? Of course you have. We all have. It happens to all traders. But in order to understand what he was thinking, I asked him, well, tell me, why do you buy here? And well, he showed me an indicator. And at that point, I was already having an idea of how he trades. And then I asked him, and why do you sell here? And he pointed to another indicator. He was not trading the market. He was not trading prices. He was taking signals from indicators. He was trading an indicator. That is to say, he was reacting to the market. He didn't have a trading plan or plan his trade and trade his plan. Not at all. He was reacting to whatever the indicator said. If it said to buy, he bought, and if it said to sell, he sold. No wonder why he was so frustrated. The market moved first. Then he made a decision. The market moved again. Then he made another decision. Basically, he was one step behind. And that's a trap that most traders spend their entire careers in. They search for a better indicator, a better strategy, a better timing, a better signal, a better entry. Yet, they never stopped to think the most important question, which is, where is the market likely heading next? What is the next most meaningful price move direction? That is the most important question because every good trade begins with a forecast. Before you can time your entry, before you can decide on risk, before you can manage that risk-reward panacea, you need to know in what direction you're going to trade. Before you could manage the trade and learn all about trade management, you need to know in what direction. And then you can think of when you'll enter. But you see, we're already talking about a plan here. And the plan begins by having an idea where the market is heading next. In other words, a forecast. And that is where most traders struggle. Not because they are lazy, not because they are not intelligent enough, but because they never learn how to read proper market structure. They only learn enter here, exit here, put the stop here, this is support, this is resistance, trade against support, prices come to support buy, prices come to resistance sell. Of course, that way, it will never work. In fact, you can see thousands upon thousands of videos in YouTube teaching you the exact same thing. Why doesn't it work? Because those videos don't teach you how to learn market structure. Look at this chart. Most traders see random price movement. Professionals see something different. They see trends, they see corrections, they see recurring patterns. And once you start seeing those patterns, something remarkable happens. The market stops looking random. Now, here's the interesting part. These patterns don't exist because of indicators. They They don't exist because of economic reports. They don't exist because of news and headlines. They exist because markets are driven by people. And people behave in surprisingly predictable ways when fear and greed take over. That is, in a nutshell, the foundation of the Elliott Wave Principle. The Wave Principle tells us that crowd psychology unfolds in recognizable, repeatable patterns. Those patterns have been studied, identified, drawn throughout the years. The Wave Principle has almost 100 years since its foundation and is still working with the exact same principles, the exact same rules, the exact same guidelines, and still the same patterns that Ralph Nelson Elliott identified in 1935 are the patterns that we are using today to identify the next market move. Why is that? Because patterns can be identified, patterns can be studied, and in most cases, patterns can be used to forecast the most probably price future movement. Look at this example. Notice what happens. Advance again, another correction, and then goes up again. The details change, the markets change, but the underlying structure repeats itself over and over again in every time frame. It doesn't matter if I'm showing you a monthly chart at this moment, or if I'm showing you a daily chart, or minute chart, or a tick chart for that sake. It doesn't matter because those patterns are fractal. They reproduce themselves in the same exact manner from second charts to monthly, yearly, quarterly charts. And once you learn to recognize that structure, you are no longer reacting to price. You are anticipating it. That's a completely different way of looking at markets. And it is one of the reasons Elliott Wave has remained one of the most respected forecasting methodologies in the world for almost 100 years. Now, does that mean anyone can predict every market move? Of course not. Nobody can. But it does mean that with the proper understanding of market structure, you can dramatically improve your ability to identify the market's most likely path. And that changes everything. Because when you have a forecast, timing becomes easier, risk management becomes easier, trade management becomes automatic. Everything starts with understanding where the market is likely headed next. And that is exactly what this channel is all about. On the Elliott Wave Mastery channel, we're going to explore how professional analysts and traders use the Elliott Wave Principle to forecast markets and predict future price moves before they happen. That's the key word, before they happen. We learn how to identify high probability opportunities and learn how to recognize market structure long before traders can even react to it. We will analyze market, study real-world examples, break down forecasts before we made them and even after we made them, and explore the principles that drive market behavior. If that sounds interesting to you, then subscribe to the channel and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.